About his plan, dressing for Zoom. An expert weighs in on why how you dress for Zoom meetings could get you noticed by the boss. Pizza 101. We've got the 5 easy steps to putting together a great homemade pie. And we're talking with Kenny, the former Indian center fielder, tells us why boys and girls clubs are so close to his heart.
From the WKYC studios, this is Front Row.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for being with us. We're almost through the week. It's Thursday night. Jim and Sarah both operating at home once again. And Sarah, as we start on a Front Row edition for tonight, when I hear the word reopen, and I'm hearing that today, I start to get excited. How about it?
I think everybody at home was thinking the exact same thing, Jimmy, when they heard that around 2 o'clock today. May 1st, that's what Governor DeWine is saying. Let's explain it a little bit further in tonight's 77 Seconds at 7.
Ohioans are chomping at the bit, ready to go, ready to get back to work.
Governor Mike DeWine says Ohio will start reopening for business May 1st. That rollout will happen in phases, starting with businesses able to provide a safe environment, as essential businesses are now tasked to do. And it's not clear yet what that means for Ohio schools or the state's stay-at-home order. DeWine says he'll share more details on that, likely next week. The governor also said he's working alongside other Midwest governors in an informal partnership to reopen the economy. Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky issued a joint statement saying they'll work in close coordination, relying on experts and a fact-based, data-driven approach. President Trump is also unveiling new national guidelines on how and when the country will start its recovery. The return to normal will be longer than the president initially envisioned, with federal officials warning some social distancing measures may need to be in place through the end of the year to prevent a new outbreak. And another good sign, the PGA Tour hopes to return the second week of June, starting with the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. The first 4 events of the schedule will be played with no fans. After that, health officials will help decide if fans could attend.
So again, May 1st, there's a lot of question marks still around what that first phase will be. We are hoping to hear more from the state either tomorrow or early next week about that, especially the stay-at-home order and schools. We know that May 1st date has been out there, that perhaps things would start back up for them as well after that point. Not clear yet, but live sports, Jimmy, I mean, say it isn't so. Like it does seem like golf might make this a little bit easier than many other stadium events, right?
Well, from my brief golf career, there would be no problems of having social distancing if you played with me, because I was always in the woods looking for my golf ball. But yeah, that will be very interesting. And again, just like the NFL draft a week from tonight, Sarah, I think when the PGA comes back, I would think that their television ratings will be very, very big, whether Tiger Woods is playing or not, because I think people are craving for sporting events. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, as we move along right now, and speaking of right now, WKYC and the Indians are raising money for a great cause, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. In fact, I'll be hosting a special show coming up right after Front Row, coming up at 7:30, and Sarah will join me on that. You're going to hear from a lot of your favorite players, past and present, of the Indians, like the great center fielder, Kenny Lofton. It never, I repeat, never gets old seeing and talking to the great center fielder of those great Indians teams, Kenny Lofton. Kenny, I have to ask everybody that comes on the show, how are you doing personally as we are all staying at home? We're staying inside. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I step out when I have to go to the grocery store, but that's pretty much it. It's been crazy times, but I'm doing good. I'm just doing certain things at home, and I live not too far from the beach, so I get on my bicycle and just kind of get some exercise that way.
We are in a big endeavor here this evening, helping to raise money for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. And that's great that you're being a part of it. And the Indians have always done so much for the kids around Northeast Ohio, haven't they?
And these kids, there's been a certain opportunity for these kids can kind of do something. And think about the Boys Club for me as well. I grew up in the Boys Club, Boys and Girls Club. Oh, it was awesome. And I understand what these kids go through and what what is needed for this is something that if I didn't have that, it'd have been crazy how I grew up. But it was an opportunity for me to get off the streets and get into the Boys and Girls Club. They had everything there for you.
So what would you do, Kenny? How did you use the clubs? What would you do specifically?
Well, for me, I played a lot of basketball there. They had that, and they had the ping pong games. They had pool. They had certain video games, but they also had an area where they had like the library where kids can go in there and do certain school projects, and that's what they had as well. So after school, I used to go to the Boys Girls Club, and there's a lot of things you can do there.
So the money raised here tonight is going to go help open those doors to those clubs back up once it's safe for all of us to come out of our homes and go back to our everyday life. And that's going to be very, very important, not only for schools to open up, but also for these facilities that are so important. Once that final school bell rings, Kenny, and the kids, have these hours before they go back home to have somewhere to go.
Yeah, good thing, the thing about it is, to this day, knowing how important these school teachers are, it's incredible. Yeah. Just seeing this homeschool stuff, it is off the chain. if these teachers don't get a raise or extra raise, it's wrong, because this homeschooling is hard. So when I think that these teachers need to get that, and these kids understand that they're now in the house and seeing how important school is today, seeing that, people need to look at that. And now the opportunity, these kids don't need to have a place after they get out of school to even go to just unwind a little bit. And the Boys and Girls Club did that for me.
He's a proud alum of a boys club in Chicago, Kenny Lofton, forever, the great center fielder of the Indians. Kenny, thanks so much for helping out.
No problem. Anytime.
Boy, I can tell you, I can still see him scoring from second base at the Kingdom and the Indians winning the pennant back in 1995. Now, our coverage has already started over at WKYC.com. It began at 6:30. Our show comes on at 7:30. You can donate by going to WKYC.com. We're going to be joined by Terry Francona, Sandy Alomar, Carlos Carrasco, and Shane Bieber. So stay with us, and if you can help, so much the better.
It's going to be a great night. Well, while plans are being made to reopen the country, unemployment numbers today continue to be staggering. 5 million people across the country filed new unemployment claims just in this last week. That brings the total number of jobs lost to more than 22 million and nearly wipes out all the jobs gained since the Great Recession in 2008. Now, here in Ohio, 160,000 claims were filed last week, bringing the state's total to 850,000. So in 1 month, more claims have been filed statewide than in the last 2 years. Well, many of those who have filed for unemployment claims work in the service industry. We're talking hotels and restaurants. And new numbers show the economic impact on the restaurant industry has been crushing. Only 50% of Ohio's restaurants are open right now, with fine dining places taking the biggest hit here, down 90%. Business for casual places is down 75%.
Unfortunately, there will be some casualties in the business, and with every week that goes on, I think that number, unfortunately, will increase.
The Ohio Restaurant Association is encouraging businesses and laid-off workers to visit its website to find some resources to get help. Right now, the mandate for carry-out and delivery lasts until May 1st.
All right, so the need for food continues to grow here and across the country, with everybody, and a lot of people anyway, losing their jobs. Lines were long again at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, and they distributed boxes of food today in our Muni lot in downtown Cleveland. Fresh produce as well as non-perishable items were loaded into car trunks. Cleveland Police, the Ohio National Guard, and reserve members all helped out with loading and navigating traffic. Well done by them. A lot of small businesses are hurting over the coronavirus closures, but one business owner says he's going to open for the summer, permission or no permission. Summit Motorsports park owner Bill Bader Jr. made the announcement in a Facebook Live video. Bader says the decision is strictly financial. He just can't keep going on like this. He also said the park in Norwalk will also open, but he did not say when. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, Zoom fashion. Find out from an expert why what you wear in a Zoom meeting could help you climb that corporate ladder.
And homemade pizza. We've got the 5 steps to making the perfect pie in your own oven. And Matt joins us. The snow this morning. What do you got for us tomorrow?
Unfortunately, Sarah, more of the same. You could ask me about Saturday or Sunday. I think we'll be okay. But yeah, we've got accumulating snow on the way to Northeast Ohio. It happens this time of year. We'll sort out when it's going to occur tomorrow and how much we can expect coming up in that forecast.
Front Row is sponsored by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
What does it mean to be the best? Best friend, best dad, best at what you do. You bring your personal best to your life, which is why we bring our personal best to you. Mercedes-Benz of Bedford, personal best.
And welcome back to Front Row, everybody. Now, some people might be getting a little bit too comfortable staying at home, like staying in your pajamas all day long. What? Like there's something wrong with that? But when it comes time for those Zoom meetings, experts say that's where things change. The very fashionable Jasmine Monroe got tips from a fashion expert.
It's definitely really important to look good while you're on camera because 55% of your message actually is being transmitted through your appearance.
Meetings in person are now a thing of the past. The pandemic has forced many companies to use video conferencing apps like Zoom to communicate.
Whether you're connecting multiple conference rooms or meeting with attendees from their desktop or mobile devices, coming together face-to-face is as simple as a single touch.
But just because you're not meeting in person doesn't mean you shouldn't dress the part.
Well, it is really important to make sure that you are dressed well so that you're continuing to show off your credibility, your competence, and your creativity when you're on your calls.
Fashion stylist Megan Moran says there are 3 things to keep in mind, and one doesn't even include pants.
First would be to find comfy, basic tops that you can wear. Because when you're on camera, it's really just the top half you need to worry about. Next shirt that you can consider adding into your wardrobe, or maybe you already have it in your closet, is going to be called a mixed media top. And so those mixed media tops are like business in the front, party in the back, or casual in the back. The next thing to consider when you're dressing professionally online is that you don't need to worry about your bottoms.
So keep it classy, Cleveland, and remember, if you're not wearing pants, make sure you leave the call before leaving the room.
What's up?
Tony, I can see you in here.
We can all see you.
Reporting from Cleveland, I'm Jasmine Monroe, 3 News.
Well, as the COVID-19 lockdown lifts in Wuhan, China, couples are resuming their wedding plans. Official wedding photos are now being taken, and some other traditions are taking place again. Many weddings were put on hold because this year, February 20th, or 2020, was a very popular date. You can see why. But that was right when thousands of people were infected with coronavirus. Jimmy?
All right, Sarah, time for the weather right now. Matt Wentz, as we call you in, ready to go and deliver what's coming up right now. I want to tell you to preserve the landscape behind us. I shoveled the entire yard today to make it a beautiful green look. What do you think?
You know, Jimmy, I'm going to call your bluff on that. I'm pretty sure you sat with a cup of coffee and watched it melt all day. I see right through you, Jimmy Donovan.
In my pajamas.
Trying to act like you're working out there. Which I'm sure you haven't changed out of. I see right through you. I know how this quarantine thing's going for you. You guys, it has been just a weird April, right? We get snow in April, but we have just taken a trip back in time over the last couple days in terms of temperatures. We had the snowfall this morning, as much as 3 or 4 inches out in Ashtabula County, says my mother-in-law. So we certainly have had some pretty decent snow here. We've got one more bout tomorrow. I have a hunch that this may be, if not the last snow this season, one of our last. I don't want to call it yet, but keep that in mind as you're watching it tomorrow. It's going to be cold tonight. You see the clouds increasing from west to east. That's going to be in advance of our next weather system, and that is our Friday snow. So here it is right now. It's going to be a narrow little swath of snow that develops on the northern end of this. They could have some pretty hefty totals out in areas of Iowa where those winter storm warnings are, anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of wet snow expected. For us, though, we've got a winter weather advisory for Erie and Huron County. That means basically you can expect some winter weather driving conditions, and that's mainly because that's going to fall earliest out there, so we may have some road impacts early in the day. Let's go hour by hour with your National Design Mart forecast. Temps back in the 30s tonight. That's where we start our Friday. Here comes the snow tomorrow morning from west to east, starting first Erie, Huron County, then it overspreads the area throughout the midday hours. The good news on our side will be the fact it'll be daytime. It makes a world of difference this time of year. Just look at the snow last night. It fell. Obviously, no daytime heating, so we had a lot of accumulation in spots. But it's going to fall during the day tomorrow, so that's going to be the balancing act. Does the snow fall heavy enough to accumulate, or does it just stay on grassy and elevated surfaces? We may end up with a few slushy inches, but it's going to be just kind of wintry around here by the time things are all said and done. As we go, I'm going to skip graphics here to the snowfall since something got bumped on my computer, but that's okay. We're right back at it. Here's your snowfall prediction. You can see the model saying anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. We may have an isolated 4, but keep in mind, during the daytime, a lot of that's going to melt. So yes, it's going to get snowy. Are there going to be huge impacts across the area? Absolutely not. In fact, down towards the south, we're going to start to mix with rain as you get south of US 30. So the biggest spring snowfalls beyond today's date, doing a little research, if we get anything over 2.8 inches, that would make this one of the bigger snowfalls beyond this date, but nothing compared to the 8.5 inches we got back on April 24th in 2005. So your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, nothing but good news in the forecast beyond tomorrow. 51, Saturday looks great. We're up to 57 on Sunday with some showers. And then you can see every other day we're dealing with some shower chances around here. But one thing's for sure, we turn warmer next week, and it looks like we stay that way for a while with more spring-like temperatures around here. You taking pictures, Emmy?
No, I just take a video.
Take a video. Fantastic. You're going to open up a portal if you shoot it into there. We'll be back.
Well, who doesn't like a homemade pizza? Our food expert, Doug Tratner's been doing a great job. He's back with us tonight with his Cook by Numbers series. So here are his 5 steps to a perfect pizza.
Hello and welcome to my dining room, definitely not my kitchen. Today we're making pizza dough from scratch. It's super easy. I'll show you in 5 easy steps, maybe 6. Lose counting, and I promise you don't have to do that. Let's get started. Okay, this is literally how easy it is. 1 cup warm water, 1 teaspoon yeast, 1 tablespoon honey or sugar. Let that go for 5 minutes. Tablespoon of salt, tablespoon of olive oil. I got about 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We're just gonna pour it in, turn it on, and stir it. Okay, this came straight out of the mixer bowl, and I just shaped it into a ball, and it's going into an oiled bowl. Flip it around, just plain olive oil. I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, put it in a warm spot to rise. I have a proofing setting on my oven, or you can just put it somewhere warm for 2 hours until it doubles in size. So now the fun part. This has just been resting again for about a half hour. It is so soft, baby soft. That's what you're looking for. You don't want to overwork it. I've got my oven preheated to the highest setting it has, which is 550 convection. With flour, cornmeal, you can also use just the back of a baking sheet. Because you do not want, once this is topped, you do not want to have to lift it again. Slide it around. Obviously when it comes to toppings, the sky's the limit. Okay, it's been in there for about 2 minutes. As you can see, it's golden brown, it's bubbling, it's hot. It's the hard part. Now the rough part. Eating.
All right, now I'm hungry. Looking back, next time we go back in time to when the coronavirus changed our lives forever. Stay with us.
Here's what's coming up tonight on 3. Trust the experts at Stanek Windows. We make the process easy. No hassles, no middlemen. Just beautifully crafted quality windows built to last. Call us today.
And before we go tonight, some light at the end of the tunnel? I think so. We told you Ohio Governor Mike DeWine wants to start reopening up Ohio by May 1st. Our videographer Kelly Matter looks back to the fateful day, that fateful day which now seems so long ago.
This afternoon, we learned that 3 Ohioans have tested positive for COVID-19.
Everyone matters right now.
We are at an absolutely crucial time. Many people already have this virus and are walking around in Ohio. When people are dying, when people don't feel safe, this economy is not going to come back. We have to do everything we can to separate ourselves from others. We want to get this over with as fast as we can. We want to get people back to work.
And we will fight it, and we will eventually have a vaccine, and it will become a history story again.
We will get through this.
Things will get better.
The sun will shine again. It will be spring again in this wonderful, beautiful state of Ohio.
Good. How are you, Yak? I can hear you good.
WKYC Studios and the Cleveland Indians present Our Kids, Our Tribe fundraiser to support Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Our Kids, Our Tribe. I'm Jim Donovan, and like all of you, I come to you from home tonight, but I come to you. This is a great honor to be on this show tonight, as we're out on a mission tonight to do some good. And before we get to that mission, remember, as always, we acknowledge the people who are keeping us safe right now during the coronavirus COVID-19 state that we are in. There are healthcare workers, our first responders, our teachers who are helping our kids along while their school doors are closed. And our kids, that's the primary mission here tonight. We are here tonight in conjunction with the Cleveland Indians to lock arms and raise some money for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. They do such important work. Their doors are shut too, but when this is all over, they will reopen, and we want to make sure they reopen in full force with all of their programs. We thank the Indians for being a part of this, and so we start with the Indians. You might say, batting leadoff tonight. Here's the Indians' Bob DiBiasio.
Our kids in Northeast Ohio need our tribe now more than ever. Thus, we are excited to announce that Cleveland Indians Charities will be making a $20,000 donation in support of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Cleveland and all the wonderful work they do. Please join us in this effort. Thank you to WKYC, our corporate partners, Dollar Bank, Call It Giving, and Crescent Digital, as together we work to make the lives of the youth of our community better. Go Tribe.
Absolutely. Go Tribe. Remember, you can donate, and here's how you do it, and we make it very simple for you. You can donate by going to WKYC.com. We'll take your donations all night long and into tomorrow. Now, a little bit more about our mission tonight, the story of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. Tonight, we're asking for some help for our kids, the 8,600 kids here in Northeast Ohio who take full advantage of the many opportunities offered to them by the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. At some time, and hopefully that's soon, the world is going to reopen, naturally when it's safe to do so. And when it does, the doors to the 39 sites of Boys and Girls Clubs across our area will hopefully open too. Like everything else, those doors have been closed while we all stay safe at home. We at WKYC, and with the Cleveland Indians standing by our side, are asking you to give whatever you can to make sure the Boys and Girls Clubs are there with full staffing when the kids need them. Now, I know this has been a major interruption in all of our lives, but we've always been there for our kids. And the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio have been there for a lot of kids through the years. The clubs are safe, fun places for kids 6 to 18 to go every day after school. Their programs promote academic success, a healthy lifestyle, and character development. Imagine this, 54% of the alumni in a recent study, they responded and said the clubs, quote, saved their lives. So tonight, let's make sure the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio are able to open up those doors again for our kids. At WKYC, we thank the Cleveland Indians, but especially you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
For any help you can give. Boy, do we miss our Indians right now, but we get a chance to talk to them at this point in time, and we made the telephone call out to Tucson, Arizona, to our wonderful manager, Terry Francona, and he said, count me in. I want to help the kids.
But helping kids in general, where when they come to a point in their life where doors remain open and nobody can say no, whether that's by helping them with their education or after school activities or even meals. Yeah. But it's just, again, trying to situate our younger kids so they don't have somebody telling them no at some point in their life.
From the time I came to Cleveland, I was just so impressed with the spirit of Clevelanders and people in Northeast Ohio and all around Ohio, for that matter, how they stay in touch with their kids, whether it's through high school sports and they follow them to college sports, and then maybe some of them, a small fraction of them, go on to a professional career, or maybe they just follow them anyway. But when kids need help, I mean, around our part of the country, we really do help.
I think it's the Midwest, those Midwest values. You know, I grew up about an hour and 20 minutes from Cleveland, and, you know, it's small town where everybody knows everybody and everybody helps everybody. And I feel the same way in Cleveland. I felt that since the time I got there. You know, when I'm driving my little scooter down East 4th Street or something, the policemen are, you know, they're sticking out their hand, giving you a high five, or it's just, it's that Midwest value type of thing. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I really miss sitting down at night and flicking on the TV and watching a ball game. And I guess when baseball comes back, we will really appreciate it even more.
Well, that would be my hope. I hope that regardless of how, I think we all know that when baseball comes back, if it's this year, it's going to be different. That doesn't mean it can't be fantastic. When baseball's back, that means other things are back. And that's a good thing. That means we're getting back to some normalcy in all our lives.
Yeah. I have to say this to you because it's important to me, but I'm a Boston kid. I grew up in Boston, and the mood around our dinner table was always predicated on what the Red Sox did the night before and what they were going to do that particular night. Now, my dad never lived long enough to see the greatness that you did with the Red Sox, but my mom did. And I have to tell you, she passed away a couple of years ago and had a wonderful life at the age of 90, but it was made richer and more complete by what you did with those 2 World Series. And that has to keep coming back at you. And I know you want to do it here in Cleveland too, but it meant the world to my family.
It's amazing, Jim, how sports, you try to explain it to people. And I think the best way, and this is the way I heard it, it can be the most important, unimportant thing in the world.
Yeah.
Sports is not life and death. We know that. But it's amazing how wrapped up you can get in it with your team and how passionate you can get and how you feel when they're doing things well and how it can kind of be a kick in the stomach when they're not. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Hey, Terry, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for helping out the boys and girls clubs of Northeast Ohio. It's just great seeing you, and we look forward to seeing you back in that dugout.
I appreciate you having me. It was an honor. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of it.
Boy, aren't you so proud to have him as your manager? Boy, I am. Terry Francona, thanks very much. Dollar Bank is a partner with the Cleveland Indians, and with more on that, here's Sarah Schuchman.
Well, joining me now is Bill Elliott, Executive Vice President for Dollar Bank here in Cleveland. Bill, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Sarah. What we want to do tonight is really start and tell you why we're glad to be part of this effort. Right before the pandemic, we became the official retail bank of the Indians. And during this period of time, the Indians team and the Dollar Bank team have been talking about how we can make a difference in the community. And so they came to us and asked us if we would support the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland in tonight's telethon. So tonight, I am here to announce that Dollar Bank is going to make an initial contribution donation of $20,000 that will match the Cleveland Indian charity donation. So we'll start out the telethon tonight with $40,000.
That is just incredible. Thank you so much, Bill, and to Dollar Bank. Why is it so important to support and help out the Boys and Girls Clubs of Cleveland?
We wanted to make a difference in the communities that we serve. And so when they talked about the Boys and Girls Club and what they've been doing with the Boys and Girls Club, we really got behind them because they are providing food and the technology that will allow their kids to continue to learn during this important period of time. So we think we're doing a lot of good things here in the market. We want to continue to do that, and we want to be able to support the communities that we serve.
Some really vital efforts during this time. Bill Elliott, Dollar Bank, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Dollar Bank, and thank you, Sarah. Coming up during the show, we're going to meet a young woman who's been a part of the Boys and Girls Clubs since she was in 5th grade. And now she's 17 years old. Here's how you donate to help us out. And if you can, we would appreciate it. You go to WKYC.com. We take your donation all night long up until tomorrow. Now, here's a face and a voice that we've been missing.
Hi, this is Tom Hamilton, voice of the Cleveland Indians. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio need your help. Please make a donation. It's very simple. All you do is go to WKYC.com and make a donation. That's all there's to it. Thanks so much for your support. Please stay safe and hope to see you at the ballpark real soon.
Ton, we look forward to listening to you on the radio. We'll take our first time out. We'll come back. These are the faces of our heroes right now. Thanks for helping our kids in the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio tonight. We'll be right back.
a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are hurting for many different reasons, and people that rely on the Boys and Girls Club for various reasons are hurting as well. So this program and this fundraiser today is all proceeds will go to them and help them out, not only immediately with their immediate needs, but also in the future, and being able to set up funding for all sorts of different programs. It's just a really good thing to be a part of, and I'm thankful for it.
Well, there he is, the All-Star Game MVP, Indians pitcher Shane Bieber. We're all about the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio tonight. A corporate sponsor of the Indians is Matt Collig, and Jay Crawford visits with him.
Jim, thank you very much. Right now, we're pleased to be joined by the founder and executive chairman of Collig Companies, a man who cares very deeply about Northeast Ohio. Matt Collig joins us now. Matt, great to see you.
Jay, great to be here. This is a special evening, and so I'm really happy and glad to be a part of it.
Well, we know that you're very charitable and you're committed to so many terrific causes in Northeast Ohio, but we also know that you want to do something very special for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. So without further ado, I'll leave it to you to make your announcement.
Well, again, it's great to be here. It's great to be part of the this special evening. So on behalf of myself and Collig Giving, I would like to donate $10,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs here of Northeast Ohio.
Matt, that is absolutely fantastic. I know you know this, but that money will be put to such good use and will actually impact the lives of so many boys and girls here in Northeast Ohio.
We're all, bound to our house, and we're staying at home, and these kids, I understand there's a couple thousand kids that don't have this as their second home during these times. So, you hate to see that. They rely on Boys and Girls Clubs so much. And so just, to be blessed with what we have and what we're able to give, it's just, we just had to get involved.
Well, Matt, we're thrilled that you did. And on behalf of the Cleveland Indians and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio, we cannot thank you enough. You're a kind man, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jay. And thanks for all you do and what WKYC is doing tonight. It's really cool.
Well, Matt Collig, he is always there. Thanks very much, Matt, and thanks to Jay Crawford for that. Now, we've been telling you that the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio offer amazing programs, and there's a key individual behind all of those programs. He visits with our own Betsy Kling.
Well, the Boys and Girls Clubs do provide such a big part for many young lives here in Northeast Ohio. Alan Smith with the Boys and Girls Clubs joins us now. And Alan, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the services and cool things that the Boys and Girls Clubs do?
Yeah, absolutely. So in July of 2019, Boys and Girls Clubs of Cleveland, Boys and Girls Clubs of Lorain County, Boys and Girls Clubs of Erie County or Sandusky, and Boys and Girls Clubs of the Western Reserve in Akron all combined forces and became one organization. And now we're really excited to be in this new virtual world, providing programming for young people.
So tell us a little bit more about how do you connect all these kids virtually? It obviously changes the programming that you normally do quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. I look at it like it's a great opportunity for us to connect with our young people. The virtual programming that we offer gives us an opportunity to touch them, put a familiar face in front of them, provide them with some of the same things that they might experience if they were in the Boys and Girls Club, like the arts or fitness activities. They get an opportunity to have some educational exposures, and they also get a chance to develop their character through some of the programming that we're offering.
Well, hopefully sooner rather than later, things are going to start to get back out and about. Everybody's going to get to see their friends again and enjoy some of the typical programming. How are you preparing for the transition out of coronavirus?
The intent is for us to not only come back as strong as we were, but to come back better. And I think this virtual programming component that we've added will allow for us to reach more kids that maybe are sick and can't regularly come, or kids that maybe have moved away from us.
Well, Alan Smith with the Boys and Girls Club, thank you so much for joining us. And I mean, you guys are just so awesome in our community. We really thank you for everything that you do.
So we're asking for your help tonight. You can do it by going to WKYC.com to give us what you can. We'll take your donations up until tomorrow, and we'll be right back.
I believe that it's a great cause to donate and keep these rolling. I mean, through the tough time that we're going right now, everybody's hurting a little bit, so it's very important for us to give the support.
Our kids, our tribe, and incidentally, that's my favorite guy that ever played for the tribe, Sandy Alomar. He's the best, and so is Crescent Digital, a partner of the Cleveland Indians. They have just informed us they are donating $5,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio. And thank you. We've been noting that you are donating to at WKYC.com, and we really, really thank you for all of that. Now to a guy that we root for in baseball and in life, Carlos Carrasco. He checks in with our own Nick Camino.
All right, we are joined by Indians right-hander Carlos Carrasco. And Carlos, I know I can speak for all Tribe fans. It's great to see you. And eventually, when it is time to play baseball, how much do you think you and your teammates are looking forward to getting out there, maybe taking care of some unfinished business from last year?
You know what? I think pretty much the same way that I feel right now. I feel so hungry right now to go back to the field and play baseball. My teammate too. So for right now, we have to stay home to take care of the family. So everything is what's going on right now for the entire war. So I think we have to be careful with that.
Why was it important for you to get involved with this organization, the Boys and Girls Club?
I think it's really important to get involved to them. And you know what? I think sometimes I just like to talk too much and to do everything and explain everything. But the hard work they're doing and I just get involved, they make me happy, man.
How important is it for you to give back? How important is that to you?
It's really important to get them back to the community. It's really important. And everything that I do, I always throw in there on the social media because I can spread that word to more people, to get involved to the community, more players, staff, everyone, because we know is a lot of people out there, kids, family, teenagers, they need help. So that's why it's really important to give back to the community.
Thank you, Carlos.
As always, great to see Carlos Carrasco and great to see him fit and strong. Okay, Sarah Schuckman introduces us right now to a young woman who's going to tell us what a positive effect the Boys and Girls Clubs have had on her life.
And with us today is Jayla Van Horne. You're 17 years old, and the Boys and Girls Club, I understand, is a big part of your life, Jayla.
Yeah, so I've been going there since 5th grade. So I've been going there for like 7 to 8 years now. I'm actually a senior, so I've been going there for forever, it seems like, for like my whole entire life. So I love the organization. It's a great organization to be a part of, and it's like a second home to me. It's like a family.
So I have to ask you that, this chapter of our lives as we deal with coronavirus has been so different for us all. What is it like for you right now with the clubs being closed and spending a lot more time at home?
It's actually very tough right now. I'm not used to ever being home this much at all. I spend literally the majority of my time at the club. People say that I live there because I basically do. I spend more time there than I do anywhere else because, I work there. And even when I'm not working, majority of the time I'm there with all my friends because, we live in the same neighborhood and things like that. So just not being able to see my friends, talk to them face to face, having that type of communication, having to be on my phone like 24/7 just to talk to my friends and things like that.
How important to you is it that it's able to reopen and restart all of these things that it's provided for you?
Just having the club reopen, that will be a big weight off a lot of kids' shoulders. A lot of kids are used to spending the majority of their time there, whether it's just to be there with their friends or even get a meal. So it's just the club opening back up, to me, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that can happen that would be great for me and great for the rest of the kids as well, just to be able to have that, family experience and get to be there because that's where they're at the majority of the time after school.
Jayla Van Horne, thank you so much for talking to us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm going to be like the third base coach. I'm going to wave you around third. We're going to come home at WKYC.com. You can donate. We'll be back to wrap up the show after this.
I grew up in the boys club. Really? Club. Oh, it was awesome. And I understand what these kids go through and what is needed for this. This is something that if I didn't have that, it'd have been crazy how I grew up. But it was an opportunity for me to get off the streets and get into the Boys and Girls Club. They had everything there for you.
So there he is, the great center fielder Kenny Lofton. He's a proud alum of the Boys Club of East Chicago. Remember, he was a great basketball player, too. Played basketball at the University of Arizona, and he wanted to chip in and help out here tonight, too. So did our parent company here at WKYC, Tegna, and they are donating $5,000. So give you some totals. Corporate sponsorship so far tonight, in a very short period of time, they have donated $60,000. And again, you, the public at WKYC.com, you have donated, some 60 people have chipped in and donated $4,000. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and especially thank you to our real heroes.